The American Revolution ended in 1783, a new nation was born. The 13 colonies had won their independence from Great Britain, but their biggest challenge lay ahead: how to govern themselves. The answer came in the form of the Articles of Confederation, adopted in 1777 and ratified in 1781. This document, a bold experiment in self-governance, laid the foundation for the United States of America. It reflected the prevailing sentiment of the time, a deep suspicion of centralized power and a fierce commitment to states' rights. The Articles of Confederation established a league of friendship among the 13 states. It was a loose union, with a weak central government. The Continental Congress, composed of delegates from each state, held limited powers. It could declare war, make treaties, and request funds from the states. However, it lacked the authority to tax, regulate commerce, or enforce its laws effectively. This decentralized structure stemmed from the colonists' experiences under British rule. They had fought a long and bitter war to escape the tyranny of a distant king and parliament. They were determined to avoid recreating a system where a powerful central government could infringe upon their liberties. The Articles of Confederation, with its emphasis on state sovereignty, seemed like the perfect solution. However, the fledgling nation would soon discover that its chosen path was fraught with challenges. The very principles that underpin the Articles' decentralization and limited government would also prove to be its greatest weaknesses, ultimately leading to its downfall. Despite its inherent weaknesses, the Articles of Confederation achieved some notable successes. Most importantly, it held the fledgling nation together during the precarious years following the Revolution. The Articles provided a framework for the states to cooperate on matters of mutual interest, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. The Confederation government successfully negotiated the Treaty of Paris in 1783, formally ending the Revolutionary War and securing recognition of American independence from Great Britain. This diplomatic triumph established the United States as a legitimate player on the world stage. The government under the Articles also oversaw the organization of vast Western territories. The Northwest Ordinance of 1787, a landmark achievement, established a system for orderly settlement and governance of the Northwest Territory. It prohibited slavery in the territory and set a precedent for the admission of new states on an equal footing with the original 13. These accomplishments demonstrated the potential of the new nation and the ability of the states to work together under the Articles. However, the successes were overshadowed by growing concerns about the government's ability to address the challenges facing the young republic. As the euphoria of independence faded, the limitations of the Articles of Confederation became increasingly apparent. The lack of a strong central government hampered the nation's ability to address critical issues, both domestically and internationally. The weaknesses of the Articles, once seen as safeguards against tyranny, now threatened to unravel the very fabric of the Union. One of the most glaring weaknesses was the lack of power to tax. The Confederation Congress could request funds from the states, but it had no authority to compel them to pay. This left the government perpetually cash-strapped, unable to meet its financial obligations or fund essential services. The inability to regulate commerce also hindered economic growth. States erected trade barriers, levied tariffs on each other's goods, and printed their own currencies, leading to chaos and uncertainty in the marketplace. These fundamental flaws created a climate of economic instability and political fragmentation. States, accustomed to acting independently during the Revolution, were reluctant to cede authority to the central government. This lack of unity and purpose would have dire consequences for the young nation. The financial weakness of the Confederation government was perhaps its most debilitating flaw. Without the power to tax, the government was entirely reliant on the voluntary contributions of the states. However, the states were often slow to provide funds, leaving the government on the brink of bankruptcy. This chronic shortage of funds crippled the nation's ability to function effectively. The government struggled to pay its debts, including those incurred during the Revolutionary War. Soldiers who had fought for independence were denied their promised pensions, leading to widespread discontent and even rebellion. The government's inability to repay foreign loans damaged its creditworthiness and hampered its ability to secure new loans, further exacerbating the financial crisis. The lack of economic regulation also took its toll. The absence of a uniform currency and the proliferation of state-issued paper money led to rampant inflation and economic instability. Trade disputes between the states, fueled by tariffs and protectionist measures, hampered interstate commerce and hindered economic growth. Section 5. The Seeds of Discontent, Interstate Disputes and Unrest. The Articles of Confederation, designed to unite the states, ironically contributed to growing tensions and rivalries among them. The lack of a strong central government to mediate disputes led to a surge in interstate conflicts over boundaries, trade, and other issues. These disputes, often marked by bitterness and animosity, threatened to escalate into open conflict. The states, jealous of their sovereignty and suspicious of their neighbors, frequently pursued their interests at the expense of the common good. They erected trade barriers, imposed tariffs on goods from other states, and engaged in cutthroat competition for resources and advantages. This climate of distrust and rivalry undermined the spirit of unity that had been so crucial during the Revolution. Moreover, the weak central government proved incapable of effectively addressing internal unrest. Shay's Rebellion, a 1786 uprising of debt-ridden farmers in Massachusetts, exposed the fragility of the Confederation. The rebellion, though eventually suppressed, served as a stark warning that the government was ill-equipped to maintain order and protect the interests of its citizens. Section 6. The Call for Change, the Annapolis Convention. The mounting problems and crises facing the nation under the Articles of Confederation fueled a growing chorus of voices calling for change. Leaders and citizens alike recognized that the current system of government was unsustainable, and that a more powerful central government was needed to address the nation's challenges. The Annapolis Convention of 1786 marked the first significant step towards addressing the weaknesses of the Articles. The convention, initially called to resolve commercial disputes among the states, attracted delegates from only 5 states. However, the delegates recognized that the issues facing the nation extended far beyond commerce, and that a more comprehensive overhaul of the government was necessary. Alexander Hamilton, a leading proponent of a stronger national government, drafted a resolution calling for a convention to meet in Philadelphia the following year to render the constitution of the federal government adequate to the exigencies of the Union. The Annapolis Convention, though a modest gathering in its own right, served as a crucial turning point. It provided a platform for proponents of a stronger national government to voice their concerns and rally support for their cause. The resolution calling for the Philadelphia Convention, adopted unanimously by the attending delegates, set in motion the chain of events that would lead to the creation of the United States Constitution. Section 7. A bold experiment. The Constitutional Convention of 1787. In May 1787, delegates from 12 of the 13 states, Rhode Island boycotted the proceedings, convened in Philadelphia for what became known as the Constitutional Convention. Tasked with revising the Articles of Confederation, the delegates instead embarked on an audacious and unprecedented experiment, drafting an entirely new framework for government. The convention, shrouded in secrecy, became a crucible of debate, compromise, and ultimately, creation. The delegates, a diverse group of lawyers, merchants, planters, and statesmen, brought with them a wealth of experience, knowledge, and differing visions for the future of the nation. They shared a common goal: to create a government that was both strong enough to provide stability and unity, yet limited enough to safeguard individual liberties and prevent tyranny. The debates were often heated and passionate, reflecting the high stakes and the profound disagreements over the best way to balance these competing imperatives. Over the course of 4 long months, the delegates grappled with fundamental questions about the nature of government, the balance of power, and the rights of citizens. They debated representation, slavery, the powers of the executive and legislative branches, and the relationship between the federal government and the states. Through a series of compromises and concessions, they forged a document that reflected both the realities of the time and the aspirations for a more perfect union. Section 8. A More Perfect Union, the Birth of the U.S. Constitution. On September 17, 1787, after months of intense debate and compromise, the delegates to the Constitutional Convention signed the United States Constitution. This landmark document, a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the spirit of compromise, replaced the Articles of Confederation and established a new framework for American governance. The Constitution created a federal system with a stronger central government, addressing many of the weaknesses that had plagued the Articles. The Constitution divided the federal government into three branches: the legislative branch, Congress, responsible for making laws; the executive branch, the president, responsible for enforcing laws; and the judicial branch, the courts, responsible for interpreting laws. This system of separation of powers, with its checks and balances, aimed to prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful and to safeguard individual liberties. The Constitution also addressed the issue of representation by creating a bicameral legislature, with the Senate providing equal representation for each state and the House of Representatives based on population. This compromise balanced the interests of large and small states, ensuring that both had a voice in the new government. Section 9. Legacy and Lessons. The enduring impact of the Articles. The Articles of Confederation, though ultimately unsuccessful, played a crucial role in shaping the course of American history. It represented the first attempt by the newly independent colonies to establish a national government, embodying the ideals of self-governance and states' rights. The Articles, despite their flaws, held the nation together during a precarious period and provided valuable lessons that informed the creation of the U.S. Constitution. The weaknesses of the Articles, particularly its lack of central authority and its inability to address economic and interstate conflicts, highlighted the need for a stronger, more unified government. Those weaknesses served as a cautionary tale for the framers of the Constitution, guiding them as they crafted a system of government that has endured for centuries. The legacy of the Articles of Confederation is a reminder that even the most well-intentioned experiments in governance can falter, and that the pursuit of a more perfect union is an ongoing process. The Articles, though flawed, represent a pivotal chapter in the American story, a testament to the nation's enduring commitment to self-government and the pursuit of a more perfect union.